You've been a big advocate for the Green New Deal, as you mentioned, and Medicare for All. You've organized in your community. How does that play out? I mean, you're in a crowded primary. Are you? Is everybody now suddenly, because it's Massachusetts, which is fairly progressive, are they all supporting you?
Well, it is Massachusetts and it is progressive and it is, there's a lot of establishment politics. And also, when you have a representative in a district like mine, where there's, gerrymandering, where we have some of the wealthiest towns and some of the poorest towns grouped in one district, and where those who make the decisions are those with the big checks. Mm-hmm. They already select who's going to be next for the seat. The working class isn't activated, right? So they haven't been reached out to. I've spoken with people who said nobody had knocked on their door for 40 years.
Wow.
Because there is that reliance on who's who and who are the super voters and who's going to agree with the last name of who. So it really gives us such a leg up and such an opportunity to truly create a movement for the working class in this district where they get to be represented. And the beauty of it is that in the wealthier towns, we have working class people who don't feel like they live in the same opportunities as everybody else. Right. And we have people who have the comforts and the wealth, and they actually want to serve the working class and the most vulnerable in our communities. So our coalition is multiracial, multi-generational, and it is very, very strong. So our chances in winning the seat are high, and we are calling on everyone to just join in these last few months of the campaign.
Yeah, it's you've definitely cleared out the progressive lane and with a real progressive message, and it's powerful because now you have Representative Kennedy challenging Murky, who is progressive. So are you seeing that there's excitement, newfound excitement, because people realize Massachusetts, whoa, hang on a second, we're going to lose our progressive senator from a centrist who has a name? I mean, do you feel like it's sort of working to your benefit that people are now enlightened as to what's on the line here?
Massachusetts is being really challenged because there is loyalty to the Kennedy name, but there's also a revolt to having anybody's last name matter in the political system. In a true democracy, our government would actually be representative of all people. That it wouldn't matter what your last name or what your wealth is if you're going to be a representative. That you would not take money from corporations and from their PACs and their lobbyists, and you would wholeheartedly have 100% the interests of the people. I think that the fight for the Senate seat comes down to the Green New Deal. When I was pushing, my own congressman on the Green New Deal, he was one of the last people who signed on it, and he immediately called it a pie in the sky. And we are in a climate emergency. Throughout his public service, people in my district have been repeatedly demanding that he pays closer attention to climate justice and that he actually acts boldly on climate justice. But that hasn't been happening, because how could you do that if you're invested in Exxon, if you are, if you're being a mediator between progressives and the corporations? Yeah. We don't need any more mediators between progressives and corporations. We need regulators of the corporations to be the ones who are representing us. We need regulators because I have been on the side of the people and of the working class since I came to this country, because I come from the working class. My father was a public school teacher. My mom was a farmer. We lived paycheck to paycheck. I lost my father because we couldn't afford his health care. I was only 13 when I lost him. I understand the hurt and pain of the most vulnerable in our community, and will reflect that in the way I would legislate.
You decided when you came to America to focus your career and your studies on regulating Wall Street. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I came and I took, sub-minimum jobs I faced sexual harassment. I faced wage theft. I saw that unions, the union movement was not as strong as it used to be. I couldn't have protection. I was in a car accident on the job, and the first thing I say, please do not call the ambulance, because I'm afraid of deportation and I'm afraid of the medical bills that would follow. Those experiences had, they made me feel puzzled. Why is it that in the richest country in the world, we have poverty? Why is it that we have not abolished poverty?
Right.
And the reason why is because Wall Street has so much power that it became our government.
Right.
It bought our government. There is a revolving door between Wall Street and government, and also the federal regulatory agencies are supposed to be neutral, right? And so in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis, I saw how people were stripped from their jobs, from their homes, from their livelihood. And I was just committed that I'm going to lead this fight against those same big banks that have wrecked people's lives. Yeah. So, and I built my career to do that. When we, the people who are called the people on the left, right? When we, the people who are fighting for justice, talk about the big corporate power, when we talk about where is the fight for the Green New Deal, the fight for the Green New Deal is on Wall Street. It's on the portfolios of the big banks. It's where the fossil fuel companies keep their money and their investments. And it's not a national fight. It's an international fight. And so we need somebody who actually understands the systemic issues from from our economy, from the financial perspective, to understand what threats to our economy exist before they become disasters, and treat them that way. That's why, I say, a lot of people who are, running for these seats, some of them, they support Medicare for all or the Green New Deal. But do they actually know how to face those same big players on Wall Street who will stop them from passing these policies, especially given that they're taking money from their lobbyists, right? So they have no clue what they're up against. And I think that the experience that I bring as a federal regulator is much needed in Congress, especially during this time as we go into recovery and as we go into another Wall Street reform.
Hassan, very powerful stuff. We're very excited about your candidacy. Your primary date is on September 1st. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we've got some time here. There are a lot of the primaries in other states are finishing up. We're going to have, there's not that many left in the cycles. So if you're looking for, a campaign to help out, even if you're not in Massachusetts, how can folks help you out in your campaign right now?
Well, folks can join our campaign by going to ihssane.org, ihssane.org, and sign up to volunteer, sign up to, give a donation if you can. And also, we have a fellow program for folks who are looking to have, an internship on their resume. With COVID, it's really difficult. And we have scholarships for those who need them. So I want you to join this movement. And fortunately, as these other campaigns wrap up, we need to hurry up on this one, because we have 34 towns and cities in my district, and we have a lot of calls to make sure that people get the message through.
Massachusetts, so great at setting up towns and cities. For those of you who don't know, it's their legislature. I mean, you guys have like the most represented legislature ever. It's so crazy. For another conversation, another time. Hassan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for dealing with all the tech issues. If you guys don't know, behind the scenes, we had a lot going on right now. But that's part of the passion, part of the commitment. Very grateful to you, and we hope to have you back on so you can give us some updates on the campaign.
Thank you for having me, Nomiki.
Thank you for watching and listening to the Nomiki Show. Make sure to click like and subscribe on YouTube and share with everybody on social media. And of course, if you're not a patron already, please join us on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for as low as $5 a month. that money makes a huge difference. We don't have the corporate money coming in. We're not cable news that's raking in the dough from advertisers right now as everybody's sitting at home and watching. It is really you guys who are keeping us together. So please consider being a patron. And for those of you who have already, we are incredibly grateful to you.